Friends, we come to the second Sunday of Advent, and with it comes the lighting of the second Advent candle, which invites us to reflect on the theme of peace. Not peace as a superficial calm, but a profound and transformative peace that transforms individual human hearts and goes on to reshape the very fabric of our world. It's a peace born of a radical love for others. And nowhere is this vision clearer than in the Magnificat, Mary's song of praise in Luke chapter 1, as she bursts into song at meeting her cousin Elizabeth. Mary has just learned that she is pregnant, and the first thing she does is go on a road trip into the hill country to meet with her beloved cousin Elizabeth. The news cannot be contained in her own heart. It needs to be shared with someone special, someone she trusts, someone who will not reject her because she is not yet married, someone whose heart is big enough to embrace her in this moment of both joy and crisis. The bond between Elizabeth and Mary is tangible despite their age difference, and there's a shared intuition between them. Elizabeth's own heart leaps within her at the arrival of Mary, and at the same time, the child in her womb leaps. She senses that something deeply significant for the world is unfolding in Mary's life and growing within her womb. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, she says. And in response, Mary bursts spontaneously into song. The opening passages of Luke's Gospel read a little bit like a musical, and this is one of those moments of song. But the Song of Mary is no lullaby. It is, in fact, quite a radical manifesto of love. It is a bold declaration that peace comes not through preserving the status quo, but through a radical reordering of society on the principles of love, bringing justice and balance to a world fractured by inequality under the Roman Empire and a corrupt patriarchal Jewish hierarchy, a symbol of all corrupt and patriarchal religious institutions in this world that undermine the ways of love and peace while pretending to be righteous and religious on the outside. Mary's visit to Elizabeth is thus more than just a meeting of relatives. It is a quiet revolution of love and kindness, a coming together of two women bearing within themselves the seeds of profound change for the world they live in, a change that begins from within. Elizabeth bears within herself the seed of John the Baptist, who will call people to a radical change in their lives. And Mary bears within her womb the seed of Jesus, the King of love. And in their exchange, we see a glimpse of the conditions for real peace that Mary proclaims. It's a peace born in community and solidarity between two marginalized women, where the lowly are lifted up and where hope for a better world is rekindled. Elizabeth's affirmation of Mary, blessed are you among women, is an act of courage in itself. It recognizes that peace begins in the margins, where the world's forgotten and the oppressed find their voices. This setting prepares us for the Song of Mary, which shifts our focus from the personal and the intimate to a new vision of hope and peace for the world, born of reverence for God, the God of goodness and love. Mary's Magnificat is not merely a hymn of gratitude. It's a proclamation of God's justice breaking into the world. He has brought down the powerful from their thrones, she says, and lifted up the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty. These are not abstract ideas. They are a call to reimagine society. This is peace as justice, peace as a realignment of power and resources in a world where the few hold much and the many struggle. Mary's words are a challenge to all systems of oppression and exclusion that leave people marginalized and powerless, unable to fulfill the potential that God has placed within them. They remind us that true peace cannot exist without addressing inequality or without actively seeking the flourishing of those at the bottom of society. As Khalil Gibran wrote, "You shall be free indeed when your days are not without a care, nor your nights without a want and a grief, but rather when these things girdle your life, and yet you rise above them unbound." Peace is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of justice and dignity for all, and the vision of devoting our lives to creating value in the world. Mary's song also envisions balance, a restoration of harmony to a world that is out of sync. The proud are humbled, and the humble are lifted up. The hungry are fed, the rich are emptied. This is not about punishment. It is about healing fractured societies that are out of balance and out of harmony with themselves. It is the recognition that a society in which resources and power are hoarded by a few is not only unjust, but also unstable. The hoarding of wealth undermines the harmony and the stability of society. It's a well-known fact that those societies in the world that are the most unequal also have the greatest levels of crime and violence. And so we ignore the needs of those at the bottom of society at our own peril. And the flourishing of those at the bottom of society is in the end for the benefit and the harmony of the whole, of everyone. The Dhammapada teaches hatred is never appeased by hatred. By non-hatred alone is hatred appeased, and this is an eternal law. And Mary's vision aligns with this truth. The peace that she sings of is not born of retribution, but of restoration. It's a peace that seeks the flourishing of all, and not just a privileged few. In our fragile world, the Song of Mary remains profoundly relevant. We see its echoes in movements for economic justice, environmental stewardship, and human rights. Mary's vision calls us to speak or to ask, where are the hungry in our world today? Who are the lowly waiting to be lifted up? What are the places of imbalance in the world today where balance needs to be restored? And what is our role in all of this work of peace? John O'Donoghue offers this wisdom. In a blessing, he says, "May the light of your soul bless the work you do with the secret love and warmth of your heart. May you see in what you do the beauty of your own soul." I think these words were used by Gavin Byrne in our services last week. The Song of Mary invites us to see our work as contributing to the value and peace of the world, and as such it is sacred. To recognize that even small acts of kindness and courage contribute to a larger transformation. Jesus suggests that even the smallest act of deep and genuine love and care for others, and especially the lowly and the marginalized, is like leaven that causes the whole dough to rise. And so as we light the second candle of Advent this Sunday, the candle of peace, may it not just be on our Advent wreaths, but even more so, may we light that candle of peace in our hearts. And may we remember that peace is not just passive. It's a bold and radical act of love for others. It calls us to move beyond our own limited and narrow self-interest. It calls us to challenge systems of inequality, to lift up the lowly, to feed the hungry, to create spaces where balance can be restored and where all can flourish. And so, in the spirit of Mary's song, may we be peacemakers this Advent, not merely wishing for a better world, but actively participating in building one. May we, like Mary, sing songs of justice and joy, trusting that the seeds we plant today will grow into a harvest of hope and harmony into the future. May we remember that no seed of love planted in the world is ever too small to make a difference, even as Jesus says, if it is as small as a mustard seed. Amen. God bless as you reflect on these things more deeply. Amen.